Hi there, everybody. It's Tuesday, January 25th. I'm Stephanie Haney. I am here with your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you very much for joining me on 3 News Now, where we run down the stories that you are clicking on and reading the most from WKYC. First up, we do start with another winter weather advisory. This is not for all of Northeast Ohio. It is for 2 counties in Northeast Ohio, though. So the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory starting at 4 p.m. today through 10 a.m. on Wednesday. This is for Ashtabula and Lake counties. 3 News meteorologist Holly Strano says that those areas might get 3 to 5 plus more inches of snow. Whew, 5 plus. Listen to the sounds of that. She says that they're expecting lake effect in those spots, so it could be a healthy dose of accumulation by tomorrow morning. So the National Weather Service is asking drivers in that area, allow for extra time before traveling on the roads during the lake effect snow event. And that advisory again, 4 p.m. today through 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Excuse me. Now, we're getting more information from the CDC. The CDC, if you remember, at the end of December, they had changed the quarantine guidelines for people who test positive for COVID-19, depending on whether you experience symptoms or not, and talking about the amount of time that a person is contagious with COVID-19. So a lot of criticism for not requiring a negative COVID test in order to end that isolation period. Well, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky is kind of clearing that up a little bit. She said one of the reasons that they don't require a negative COVID-19 test to end that isolation period is because using that PCR test, that's the test that we've considered to be sort of the gold standard because it is very sensitive when it comes to determining an initial diagnosis of COVID-19. You can stay positive with a PCR test for up to 12 weeks after having COVID-19. Now, as a reminder, I just kind of laid this out a little bit, but there are 2 types of the diagnostic tests that are used to detect COVID-19. One is the antigen test, which is also the rapid test. Okay, so we've been getting those at home. Results are available in minutes. The other is the PCR test. It's a molecular test. It's a lab process test. That's a test that takes a couple days to get back. So, like I said, more sensitive than the rapid test. So they're more likely to accurately identify a case of COVID-19, and that's why they've been considered the gold standard. But because they're so highly sensitive, they also detect very small amounts of COVID-19. So that's why you can stay positive for up to 12 weeks using that PCR test. The Cleveland Clinic says this means the test can continue to detect those fragments of the SARS-CoV-2 virus even after you've recovered from COVID and are no longer contagious. So that is why, coming from the CDC, that they are not requiring a negative COVID test before you end that isolation. Now, of course, this is also contingent, on recovering from the symptoms as well. Lots of information on WKYC.com. Now, we did get numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health today, but they're incomplete. It's underreported due to a data error. Now, remember yesterday we were celebrating the fact that there was a significant decrease in COVID-19 cases, and that came after, and also decrease on Sunday. So not necessarily clear when this underreporting started, but definitely today's numbers not accurate because of what they are calling underreporting invalid data submitted by an external facility. Okay, so we're not even going to discuss the COVID-19 numbers today because it's not the full picture. What we can talk about are the number of people in the hospital. There are 5,222 people in the hospital being treated for COVID, and out of those people, 1,006 of them are being treated in an ICU. Now today and over the weekend, you may have seen a video from Betty White talking to us from Beyond the Grave. This video was actually filmed before she passed away. Remember, she passed away on December 31st, but we're getting final words from Betty White. This video was intended to be released after her 100th birthday, so not necessarily something that was considered as something to be released after she passed on, but definitely to be released after her 100th birthday, which would have been January 17th. So again, she didn't make it to that. She passed away at the age of 99. But in that video, she says, "I just want to thank you all for your love and support over the years. Thank you so much." And her representative, which shared the video to her official Facebook page, said that she knew how lucky she was. She felt the love, and she never took it for granted. And that's why she recorded that video. So just some kind words for all of us from Betty White, our beloved Golden Girl, who, by the way, had a lot of ties to Northeast Ohio. If you want to read more about that, check it out on WKYC.com. I will remind you all that she did live here for 4 months with her first husband before heading back out to Los Angeles. Now, if you are a fan of the Galley Boy here in Northeast Ohio, there's a new place where you'll be able to get that. That's starting Monday, January 31st. That's when the new Brooklyn location of Swensons will be opening, and it'll be on Brook Park Road. The address is 7414 Brook Park Road, so this is really kind of right at the intersection of Ridge Road, between Ridge Road and West 78th Street. The hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. until midnight, and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. until 1:30 a.m., so you can get that late night Galley Boy if that's what you're into. That's that double cheeseburger and those 2 homemade sauces, and it has a green olive. By the way, Swenson's is ranked among the best burger spots in America. You know, LeBron James loves his Swensons. And I just learned that they have a veggie burger, which I did not know. It's called the Salad Boy, and it's a veggie burger, and it's got the 2 special sauces. It's got the bun, the lettuce, the tomato, the pickles, the onions, and the cheese. So I just might have to hit up that Brook Park location, because it has been a very long time since your girl here has had some Swensons. But now that I know they have a veggie burger, I'm going to have to make the little jaunt out there to Brook Park Road. Speaking of new things coming to the Northeast Ohio area, there is talk about what will happen at the quarterback spot for the Cleveland Browns. Aaron Rodgers is talking about, it's not been a secret that he's been potentially looking to move on from Green Bay. So after he lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL divisional round, BetOnline released odds for where Aaron Rodgers would play next. The Cleveland Browns aren't favored, but they're not far down the list. According to the odds, they are 5th. They have the 5th best odds of getting this 38-year-old quarterback. They are behind Denver Broncos, which have the best odds, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles. We've got the full odds on WKYC.com, but let me just be probably not the first to say, but let me just put myself on the record saying, as a Cleveland Browns fan, it would be very strange, very, very strange to see Aaron Rodgers calling the shots at First Energy Stadium. Very strange. Now, let's switch to basketball. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers situation. You know, the NBA trade deadline is approaching. That is on February 10th, and you could argue that the Cleveland Cavaliers are in a very good position to potentially make a championship run. You know, they have already surpassed the number of wins they were projected to have for the entire season, and we're not even at the NBA All-Star break, which, by the way, is coming up here in Cleveland very soon in just a couple of weeks. And point guard Darius Garland, who is an All-Star caliber player and could potentially be on that All-Star squad representing Cleveland for the first time since LeBron James is on the All-Star squad, is a big part of that. So what we are seeing, our 3 News sports analyst Ben Axelrod says the Cavaliers should be in the buyer position come the NBA trade deadline, but of course, you can't get something without giving something up. So he's taken a look at what Cavs players could potentially be in play for some moves coming up on the NBA trade deadline. Of course, there are the untouchables. You're looking at your Evan Mobley, your Jarrett Allen, your Darius Garland. And then there are some people who are not likely to move but could move. Kevin Love is among those. But then there are the people who are injured and could potentially make a deal. That's where you're looking at Ricky Rubio and Colin Sexton. Okay, so if you want to take a look at that analysis, that's coming from our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod, especially with that injury for Rubio, that torn left ACL. Sexton also tore his meniscus to end the season back in November. So potential there to make some moves. We'll see what happens. Now, speaking of people who could stay and could go and all the drama involved with that, if you are watching The Bachelor, you know that there's an Ohio girl on The Bachelor. Her name is Shanae Ankney. She's 29 years old. She's from Sycamore, Ohio. That's a few hours southwest of Cleveland. She had quite the showing on yesterday's episode. I recap it each week, when it's involving Ohio people, and it was basically the Shanae show. There was some drama over some shrimp, over her eating too much shrimp, and the woman she had the drama with kind of came for the entire state of Ohio. She said, I don't know how big the portions are in Ohio when it comes to shrimp. Let me just tell you, I don't think that she took a huge amount of shrimp. I will say that for her. As much as it is possible that she is getting a villain edit, it does definitely seem like Shanae is giving them quite a bit to work with here. But there was one particular moment where it seemed like the editors really put some words in her mouth. That was when She had confronted the Bachelor, who was Clayton Echard. He's a medical sales representative. He's from Missouri. He was actually on the Seattle Seahawks for a couple months. Never played a snap in a professional NFL game, but he was on the squad for about 3 months in the summer of 2016 before getting cut in September of that year. So anyway, she went and said something to him about how she felt like, she told him she was being sort of ostracized by the girls. And then we cut to those testimonials where she's talking with producers. In that moment, she had talked about how good she was, how she didn't mean to cry, but she did. And she says, I've got him. And then we don't see her on camera, but we hear a voice say in a totally different tone, sounds like it came from another room. It sounds completely disjointed. He believed me, which doesn't seem like it was natural in that course of that conversation. So take a look at it. It's all laid out on WKYC.com. I will tell you this. This is the second week in a row, the second episode in a row, because there was a break last week, that it really has seemed like The Bachelor has been the Shanae show. So, for better or worse, she has the attention of Bachelor Nation right now. And of course, when her journey is over, I will talk to her on the 3 Things to Know podcast, so we'll get some more insight from her. But it has been entertaining to watch. And I will also say this. You know, I do love a petty move. I really do. She posted a video last night of herself making shrimp, saying that this week's episode made her hungry for shrimp, and it's very entertaining. So go ahead and check that out on her Instagram. It's SHANAE.A on Instagram. One more thing to let you know before we go here. You know that iconic Ferris wheel at the Cleveland IX Center? Well, it is going away. It's been there for 30 years. It was installed in 1992, and we do now know, it's been confirmed to our 3 News Dave Chudowski, that they're taking it down. They're sending it somewhere else. And they're not going to demolish it, but they do say that they are going to try and find a new home for it. They're hoping to take it down sometime between April and October. So if you want to get in there to say goodbye, you know, check that schedule, check that event schedule at the IX Center, because it will not be there for very much longer. They said it just doesn't fit into the new event space plan. So we will say goodbye to the IX Center Ferris wheel. Had a moment there for a second. We will say goodbye to the IX Center Ferris wheel very soon. That is it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, January 25th. I will see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.